Okay, so there's a new rom-com in town, and it is Maybe I Do, right? It is written and directed by Michael Jacobs, who also produces along with Scott Mednick, Vincent Garcia Newman. It's executive produced by Jennifer Semler, Jason Pinado, Jonathan Montipere, Skylar Mendick, Diane Keaton, and Stephanie Heaton Harris. Leslie Barber is on music. Tim Surhurstick is cinematography. Erica Fried Marker edits the piece. Stephanie Ryan Manhim and Quinn Shawala were on casting. Rick Butler is production design. Art direction is Leah Guerin. Set decoration, Mia Kavavilich. Costume design, Sarah Fleming. Right? Our cast is a pretty, solid cast. There's Michelle, played by Emma Roberts. Her mother is Grace, played by Diane Keaton. Her dad is Howard, played by Richard Gere. Michelle is dating Alan, who is played by Luke Bracey. His mother is Monica, played by Susan Sarandon, and his dad is Sam, played by William H. Macy. They're at, their friend's wedding. So Michelle's best friend is Aurora, played by Israel Patricia. And Alan's best friend is... God damn it. Who's his best friend? Jonah. God damn, yes. Played by Dasman Still. Right? They are the main cast members, I would say. Yeah, I think the hotel boss is Manny, played by Michael Kostroff. Yeah, I think that's it. And there's Sophia, played by Natalie Ortega. Okay, so the gist of the film is this, right? A young couple are at a crossroads. Michelle wants to take the next step, but Alan feels unsure if he's ready. Believing that their parents may be able to help, Michelle organizes a family dinner to meet for the first time. However, it soon becomes clear that these parents know each other well already, very well, as both couples desperately try to keep from exposing their secret history together. Over the evening, dinner transforms into a chaotic therapy session that leads to some unexpected revelations for all. So, yes, that is the gist of this one. I mean, I don't necessarily think that is all true, right? Where it's just like, oh yeah, the parents are trying to hide, you know, they're exposing their secret. It's, I mean, if you call that hiding, you know what I mean? It's blatantly clear from the giddy up, shit has gone down. You know what I mean? But this is actually an adaptation of a play Jacobs, put together, which came out in 1977. It was called Cheaters. So, yeah, I don't know if the plot is exactly the same, but it says, what he changed from the play to the big screen. I'm not sure, but it's an adaptation, baby. Now, the title, Maybe I Do, right? I feel Unsure Hearts or something like that is a more apt title. Maybe I do. Maybe you do what, motherfucker? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make any sense. It's it's one of those films, that seems to play things in this weird space. You know what I mean? It's like, kids, this is the message. And the message is bullshit, right? It's bullshit, right? Everything we see in this film about, supposedly about love, is no indication of love at all, right? And that's the thing that I always find very weird about this kind of stuff. Because they're like, this is a rom-com, right? That's what this is meant to be. A rom-com. You know what I mean? Where you watch love come together. That's the idea in sometimes chaotic ways, but love always prevails. But I think over the years, I mean, a lot of these rom-coms, they're no real indication of love. It's toxicity that we are watching. It's people settling. It's people that don't really have anything in common other than an aesthetic look. You know what I mean? Because there's a bit where Bracey's character, says to Roberts, "You'll always be a ballerina to me." And it's just like, what's that mean? Like, what's that mean? You know what I mean? Like, it's corny as fuck, but break it down. What does that mean? You know what I mean? She always wanted to be a ballerina, but she doesn't have the skills to be a ballerina. And you're like, well, but you're always no, you're not. You're not a ballerina. But does that fucking matter? It's like, no. It's just like, listen, you don't have to be a ballerina. I like you for all the other things you do, the way you think, right? The way you stand up for people. You know what I mean? The goodness in the heart. You're always caring. You always have nice things to say. You support me. Like that. That's the fucking shit I want this motherfucker to say. You know what I mean? It's bizarre. It's bizarre, right? And we start off seeing all these different couples, right? We're at a cinema and yeah, what's his name? Fuck. Sam. Sam's at a cinema. He's watching this romantic film. He's on his own and he's crying. Right? Grace sees him. And so when Sam moves to the back, she follows him and they start talking and everything goes like that. The interesting thing about this, right? So these are meant to be the two nice people in their relationships. And they're like, oh, I've never done anything like this before. Oh yeah, what do we do? Yeah, this is so weird. Oh, and they're walking, and he's just like, yes, I'm such a good person, blah blah blah, and then proceeds to tell a story of cheating on his first girlfriend, right? And you're like, wait, what? You know what I mean? And Grace is just like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. This bullshit story that he gives where, well, all the time I was cheating, I was thinking of my girlfriend. And she's like, oh, that's nice. Oh, and he's just like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is insane. Then when you get to the actual relationships, right? And the put upon person is talking and they're like, oh, everything I'm just, I want to be loved and blah, blah, blah. And it's never, why didn't you leave? Right? Why don't you leave? which I find insane. It's never even brought up. You don't have to have the characters do these things, but why don't you bring these things up? Right? It's acting like a relationship can only be this. And that is very weird to me. Right? Now, when we get to the kids, we get to the kids. This is insane. I found this so crazy, right? Michelle, Alan, they're at their friend's wedding, Jonah and Aurora. And Alan does this thing, which is insane. It's insane. A huge disrespect. Huge disrespect. So you're wondering, why would Grace entertain Michelle even? Why would Michelle entertain anything with this dude? You know, there's a bit where she's just like, you're just lucky I know who you really are. And I'm just like, no. Those actions show who someone is. If someone really cares for you, respects you, they're not doing that thing. You know what I mean? It's just like, yo, what the fuck is this, son? It's bizarre. It's bizarre. The other thing, and I never understand it, in films like this, TV shows like this, books like this, we're meant to believe that this couple has never, ever talked about next steps. I find that bizarre because these, obviously, they're not kids. We don't get an age, but they're not kids, right? They're, I'd say 30s, right? I mean, they're too old to be in their 20s, right? So I'd say 30s. You're not fucking little children. You have conversations. You know, and the rationale, right? The rationale of Alan for his actions makes no sense. Because it's just like, but what if it ends? What if this doesn't? I'm just like, yo, but you can say that just about dating someone. You know what I mean? It's just like, yo, however you want to package it, it's all the same thing. If you're dating someone, right, you have no intention of getting married. You both talked, you had no intention of getting married. You still make that commitment to each other, right? You're still like, listen, I love you, I care for you. I'm not intending to do anything with anyone else. It's just us. It's about me and you. That's the commitment you are making, right? Which is the same as if you get married. The only difference is you sign some papers, and it then means if one of you die, the other one will get, you know, taken care of, right? If you have kids, the kids go with the other person. If you're not married, the parents can take the kids, right? You aren't entitled to anything. So marriage is that protection on those things, but then just also I think it's that other symbolization that you do really care about each other, you know? But you can have that if you just want to be with someone and you don't want to get married. But you'd have those conversations, right? You'd have those conversations. So with something like this, I just don't understand, right? It doesn't make any sort of sense. Doesn't make any sort of sense the way any of these people are acting. You know, I've never heard of a pimp, you know what I mean? A brothel owner trying to talk someone out of going to the brothel, right? That odd, very odd. right? But there's a bit when, you know, Grace is watching the TV, Diane Keaton's character watching the TV, and you've got a pastor on, you know, talking about infidelity and all of that, and she's like, oh, but oh, you know, and all of this, and it's just like, okay, you have the opinion that she watches this show often, so why are you like suddenly it's just like, oh, he's talking to me, oh, and it's just like, what the fuck are we doing here? This is dumb. You see the husband walk into the kitchen behind her and then run out, and it's just like, what? And she didn't hear that? Like, what the fuck, man? Now this group of actors, right, mad talented cast. These motherfuckers have been in huge films, TV shows, all of that jazz. All of that jazz. There is absolutely no chemistry between anyone, though, in this film. There is no chemistry. And there's certain conversations that happen, and you've just got them with these stupid grins on their face, right? When Jonah is talking to Alan at the wedding, and he's like, yo, this is gonna go down. And he's got this stupid grin on his face. He's like, don't ruin the wedding, right? And they're grinning, and it's just like, I mean, what? Right? And surely you know your boy enough that you know if you just tell them this information, they won't do something stupid, right? So you would just grab the arm and be like, yo, let this be, motherfucker, because I will beat your ass. You know what I mean? It's when Alan is talking to Michelle in the apartment. Again, she's saying, and he's just sitting there with this stupid grin on his face. It like the chemistry ain't there. It ain't there. Another thing, right? They're in the house, right? Grace's pet. I mean, look at that. There's so many names, right? Michelle's parents' house, you know? They're in the house. And they're in Michelle's room, her and Alan. They're on the bed with their shoes. They're sitting on the fucking bed with their shoes on, people. Their shoes. The shoes you walk around the street with, right? Now, it might not look like there's dog shit and piss and all of that, vomit on the pavement, right? But there has been, right? There has been all manner of bacteria and nastiness. So when you come into your house, you take the shoes off before you go into the bedroom, and you know what I mean, these spots. You do the last thing you do is go to sit on your bed and put your feet on the bed. Come on now. Are we fucking animals? Are we people? Yo, that might have been one of the most egregious parts of this fucking film. You feel me? Yeah. Anyway, listen, right? It's I think it's a horrible message. It makes no sense, but it's, you know, solidly put together, right? It's solidly put together, you know? So there's that. Like the yeah, the acting is kind of phoning, but everything else is fine, right? It's not gonna win any awards, but it's not the worst thing you will ever have seen. So, you know, on that part, the costumes, the set decoration, all of that is absolutely fine. I mean, I will say, right? I will say that the jacket Monica is wearing is I was like, yo, what the fuck is that jacket, son? Like, where is that jacket? You know what I mean? I wasn't a fan of that jacket. But other than that, everything is kind of fine. It's kind of fine. If you're a fan of like About Fate, right? Another Emma Roberts film, you know, Your Place or Mine, Holiday, Shotgun Wedding, Somebody I Used to Know. If those films do something to you, if you enjoyed Ghosted from the other week, then Maybe I Do is gonna work for you, right? Maybe I Do is gonna work for you, people. But do not expect, right, a Garden State, right? Do not expect a Before Sunrise. Do not expect an Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind, right? A Juno, a 51st Day. This is not this film. But maybe, you know, you got to see Jacob's Cheaters, right? On Broadway. And you were like, yo, love this. Then, yeah, then I'm sure this will work for you. But yeah, if you like those other films, if you enjoy that sort of rom-com, then Maybe I Do will be your thing. So it's now out. You can watch it on Prime, right? It's on Apple, just all those spots. So yeah, people, it's a Prime, it's a Prime original, so you can watch it for free there. So yeah, there you go, people. Maybe I Do. Maybe I Do. For the love of God. Why? Why did I? Because I always do. Whatever signature send me, I check it out. So yeah, there you go, people. It's just my thoughts, baby. Just my